When Carpenter falls a tree, he discovers something that gives him the shock of his life. Working in his yard, Ryan Saunders was a carpenter who had decided to take on a job. He made the decision to chop down one of his backyard trees in order to get wood for his next carpentry project. After going to his workshop and getting his equipment, he started working on the tree. But when he cut through the tree and discovered a very intriguing surprise in the midst of the bark, he had no idea that this modest effort was going to take a very unexpected turn. Welcome to USA Stories channel. Do not forget to subscribe and activate the bell button to receive all new updates. Now let's go to the story. When working in nature, there are some surprises that nobody likes to face, and this is one of them for sure. Ryan sawed the tree in two as he was working on it to uncover something he did not comprehend. Despite being completely perplexed by what he was witnessing, he made the decision to get his camera and attempt to record it. Working in the outdoors exposes one to a wide range of creatures, but this particular one was unlike anything most people have ever seen. The surprise in the midst of the tree was so uncommon that it would require a great deal of conjecture and many guesses before its identity could be revealed. Ryan had no idea how harmful it might be, especially because it was acting in a way that defied biology. There's no denying that this story is amazing. We wish you strength of stomach. Strange things happen to us all the time, and our lives are rarely typical. When it comes to her inclinations and the sights that emerge from natural growth, Mother Nature is no different. Like the ones you see here, trees, more than most things in nature, have a knack of finding their way into the most unusual locations. If you allow them to, they will grow straight through inanimate objects like cars and other things. But we were not prepared for what Saunders discovered. Sometimes animals manage to get into problems when they approach trees too closely. We've all heard the well-known story of the cat that gets stuck in a tree and is unable to escape. This dog needs to be rescued after getting into some trouble of his own. Other animals can also become imprisoned, as seen by Saunders' experience with his tree, which was more odd than his contact with a cat or dog. A lengthy collection of images showing animals and trees not getting along can be found online if you search for humorous pictures of animals and trees interacting. This fight is always won by the tree, leaving the unfortunate animal helpless while the picture is shot. Still, nothing could have readied Saunders for what happened when he chopped down his tree. So much so that when he chopped down the tree, his video was seen by 26 million people. Trees may act in the most bizarre ways at intriguing times. This bike was left close to a tree for far too long before the tree engulfed it. In addition, a tree is growing over a metal railing that has a pair of amusing eyes painted on it. These are but two instances of how nature manages to evade human creations. We would like to alert you that there are some graphic photos ahead. You should go back now if you don't think you can handle graphic images. These pictures are not just funnier than the ones we just showed you, but you won't believe what was in the midst of the tree, how unusual it is, and how it appears. You should go back now if you don't think you can handle graphic images. These pictures are not just funnier than the ones we just showed you, but you won't believe what was in the midst of the tree, how unusual it is, and how it appears. With his tools in hand, Saunders prepared to chop into the tree in his backyard. He would soon find out that there was a creature dwelling in the center of the tree, something he was unaware of. In the footage, you can see Saunders screaming and leaping backwards as soon as he noticed the animal through the opening. Nothing could have prepared him for what he witnessed. How could anything possibly survive in the center of a tree trunk? The strange monster can be seen moving in all directions while the video plays. The monster has definitely been sliced, and Saunders is screaming and freaking out as it begins to wriggle. Saunders calmed down after a short while. Then he spoke to the camera, describing the object he was examining. To begin with, he had no idea what kind of animal this could be. Saunders stated, "I accidentally sawed in half some sort of large snake inside of this log." Looking around in full horror at what he saw, he started screaming once again as the creature's body began to move down the center of the trunk and onto the ground below. It was getting closer to him by the day. What may this object be? As it backs out from behind the camera's lens, you can hear Saunders screaming. He waited for the creature's head to emerge so he could identify it, but it continued to emerge with no head in sight. In an attempt to get some distance between himself and the beast, He then dashes to the opposite side of the tree. Saunders insisted that the monster continued to move. The monster was missing its head, but it was still alive and moving quite a bit, as he could see the tail on one end. It makes sense that the video became quite popular, but there was much more to this tale, and the rest was even more amazing given that the creature had lived in this tree for an unknown amount of time. The creature had been sliced into 2 parts, which would have resulted in the animal's death, but instead, the 2 fragments were still crawling. You do not witness anything like this every day or even year. We were able to identify the animal because of a man who saw the video, a massive worm or a snake. Many people were venting their ideas, so which one was it? John DeLay, a guy, claimed in a comment on the video that it was a worm. A woodworm is what it is. They begin modestly. It continued to drill around the tree until it became large enough to create a hole in the center. The man chopped down the tree when it had eaten its way that large. But John DeLay made a grave mistake in selecting his beast. It turns out that the other commentator was right when he said that it is a rare pine snake. Below Earth, they make advantage of the rotting root system. This image depicts the appearance of the snake in its natural state. This species was extremely uncommon. What were the chances that Saunders, hacking into his backyard tree, would find it? This snake was unlucky to get caught in Saunders' tree, just as the dog that was entangled in a tree. There was a circumstance with a dog that was quite similar to the snake scenario. It was lost for years after being entangled in the tree until it was accidentally unearthed. These are devastating pictures. A monster of sorts was found in 1980 by Kraft Corporation employees in the heart of a big oak tree. The environment appeared to have mummified the creature. The tree was brought to the Forest World Tree Museum as soon as the remains were discovered. Because discoveries like this are uncommon, they required attention and care. The mummified remains were dubbed Stucky by the staff, understandably. The animal was following another animal when he became caught in the tree and was never able to escape, which is how the name came about. He had been in that tree for 20 years until the loggers found him in that same tree. This indicates that in 1960, the dog entered this tree. Because of the airflow provided by the tree, the hollow log served to preserve the dog by eliminating his fragrance, resulting in his mummified remains. Forest World manager Brady Stevenson explained how Stucky ended himself in his current role. People's hearts bleed when they tell them the truth, that he was lost and had just been stranded there. Humans become stranded in hollow trees just as much as dogs and other animals do. Look at the legs of a man who was interested in this tree's hollow inside. He was stranded there for some time before someone heard him call for help and came to his aid. We have no idea how he was able to climb as high as he did. Please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a thumbs up, and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. If you enjoyed the tale, the next video that plays on your screen will probably move you too.